Welcome to the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. I'm Jill, coach and owner of CS&F. My team and I are here to help you take charge of your fitness and nutrition. In each episode, we'll provide you our best so that you can take your health to the next level. I hope you enjoyed today's episode with our host and coach, Alex Cottingham.
And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning back into, I believe, episode 53 of the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. Back in the studio, Jill Thornton. Jill.
Sup?
Jill, give us just a sound, a random sound.
You knew that one was coming.
I set you up. It was a layup. I was just talking about how in my next podcasting world purchase, I want to get the sound effects feature where we can just start incorporating some sound effects.
I mean, I can just do that.
Jill's
for
just
you.
going to be my sound effects person naturally.
You moved that from your head to your butt really fast.
Just for the record, that did not come out of my butt, everyone.
Additionally, we have Jill's better half that actually can't smell all of these smells.
What?
Hunter Thornton. Hunter, how are you doing?
Doing great.
I think this is perfect because just as much as we want people to understand why we do what we do here at the gym, we also want them to understand who our owners are. Who are these fearless leaders in charge? They're just real, authentic, silly, fun people that I've had the pleasure of doing life with and working with over the past couple years now. Guys, this conversation is why fundamentals. Why do we do it? What's important? What's the win? And what separates this from different methodologies and philosophies of fitness? Because here's the thing. People want to get in shape. They want to be healthy. They've never met someone who doesn't, but there's a lot of different ways people go about doing that. We have a very unique way, but it sets people up for the long run. We do things very slowly, but slow and sustainable and steady, so we're going to set them up for life. It's not a, hey, 30 pounds in 30 days. It's a, we're going to set you up for as long as we can, right? Mm-hmm. And with that, we want to start on the right page. So that's why we have established this fundamentals program, this fundamentals course that people have to go through at their own pace to really set them up well. Because we don't just say, oh, hey, go hop into a workout. You might get hurt.
We did in the very beginning.
And many gyms still do. Yes.
Yeah.
So to kind of get us started, why don't you guys kind of ping pong back and forth on what are the traditional ways gyms kind of get people in the doors and just into class, and not just CrossFit, but Globo gyms or other gyms as well.
Yeah. I mean, for us, the only thing we knew was people come in, they want to do CrossFit. Okay, great. They just go into a class.
Okay.
And that's how we did it for maybe the first
few months.
Few
it
months.
It was 3 or 4 months.
So, and I can kind of give you some background on why we changed what we did was because, when you have 1 or 2 people in a class, which is how we started, that's about what we had in every class that Hunter and I coached, you can teach 2 people how to air squat. You can do a lot of teaching. Once your class gets above, 8, 9, 10 people, teaching 10 people how to air squat becomes a challenge, right? And Hunter and I just started to realize, man, we are not able to teach everybody everything we want to teach them in every class because of the size of the class, because of the amount of time that it takes. You have people that have been here for 6 months and they know how to air squat and then the new person doesn't. So you spend the time with a new person, but what about the other guy? So we were just hitting a lot of obstacles around onboarding people that way. We were like, there has to be a better way. So Hunter, I'll let you take it over from here since you were the one that found the better way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple things that, or I guess a lens we wanted to look through to kind of figure out what was best. And I'll explain that and then how we got there. The lenses were what's good for the client, what's good for the coach, and then what's good for the gym. And looking through most of all of our decisions through that lens kind of navigated us to this fundamental process. And the history behind that was, I got involved first, then Jill quickly got involved way back in 2006 or whatever, and we were trying to figure it out because a lot of it was just kind of just trial and error. And we got connected with a guy named Dan who started the first gym here in Atlanta and kind of went through and got exposed to a lot of people that had been in this space for quite a while. So knowing that those were our 3 lenses we want to look at, to Jill's point, was we wanted to primarily look at what's best for the client. And what we knew about the client or the gym member is no person is alike. And because of that, there is no real cookie cutter solution just to say, hey, we're going to give you 3 sessions, or hey, just figure it out on your own, jump into class, the coach will take care of you. So there was that element. The other element was the coach. Like, how does the coach provide a high level of service while servicing people that some people have been at the gym for a year, some people have been at the gym for a week, some people have been just coming back from an injury that they suffered through playing rec ball and stuff. So every person kind of had where they're at in that journey, and the coach was responsible for providing an excellent service on the floor. And then obviously the gym, just the community and stuff. We wanted everyone to be high-five and having fun as kind of the overall element of it. So what we realized was we needed a system to get people up to a level of standard to get them into that group environment so that the coach could provide everyone a great experience, and everyone kind of had a similar level of starting fitness and understood what we were doing, why we were doing, and educating the client through that journey. So that's where fundamentals kind of evolved from.
I like that you mentioned that you got started early into the CrossFit kind of like genesis of this whole thing back in 2006, 7, 8, that really trying to figure it out, because there's still gyms that kind of do quote unquote the old model that it's you come into class, I'm going to give you some tips, you're going to figure it out as you go. It's like sink or swim, right? We don't believe that sets people up well. I mean, you're drinking through a fire hose. You don't know if you're doing it right. You feel super intimidated. This fundamentals program, process, course, whatever you want to call it, sets people up really, really well, because it's one-on-one. It's with a coach that you're going to not only establish a relationship with now, but it's going to be with you for your entire duration at the gym. Jill, can you give us just a brief overview of like what the fundamentals process even is?
Yeah, so it's basically our term for how do we set people up to be ready for classes. And it's not just even a matter of being ready for classes, it's teaching them the lingo. CrossFit is a different language, teaching them what it is to modify. Okay, you don't have a pull-up yet, what are you going to do instead? So basically we're laying a foundation for them to be prepared and confident going into the group environment. So we basically spend one-on-one time with them to get them to that point. Now, the cool thing about it is it takes a different amount of time for each person. If you have a collegiate athlete coming in that has a lot of experience with weightlifting and gymnastic movements, they're not going to need a ton of foundational help. If you have somebody coming in off the sofa who's never done fitness in their life, it's going to take a little longer, and that's fine. That's the beauty of what we do. It's one-on-one, and it's custom to what the person needs. You can kind of contrast that with like an onboarding program that is a group. There are some gyms that do it that way. You are only going to be able to coach and teach to the level of the person that's the lowest in the class. Because if you have that collegiate athlete and Joe off the sofa in the same group, the collegiate athlete is not going to get the same thing out of it as Joe off the sofa is going to get, and you're not going to be able to teach and coach them the same. Versus taking them into a one-on-one environment, you're really going to be able to help them with their strengths and their weaknesses and communicating what they need and getting them prepared to class much better. So all that to say, the point of fundamentals is to give people a solid foundation before they go into class so that they have a long-term success at the gym with us. That's the point.
And I'll highlight the idea, and because it may be relevant for some and some people might not really care, but like even the history of how CrossFit was founded was within that model.
The one-on-one model.
The model changed because people wanted to be able to get people in the door faster. They wanted to be able to make profitable revenues, so they threw people into this sink or swim group environment, and some people do find success in that. But the traditional, or not the traditional, the grassroots model was one-on-one training. When you are proficient in one-on-one and can do what you need to do, and you can do what the coach is asking you to do, then we'll go to smaller group environment, all of the group class. And that's how Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, started his own gym teaching this philosophy. So it's in some ways it's a different approach, but it was always the intended model. So that's, in some ways we're different, but in the same way we're actually doing the way it was meant to be done.
And this isn't anything new in the context of like our daily lives. I use the analogy of driver's training course. You don't just put a 16-year-old behind a wheel, right? You teach them the rules.
What's a stop sign?
Yeah, exactly. How to operate a car, all the rules and how it works, that you're setting them up well because they're going to be by themselves and they're going to be fully responsible of driving that car. It's the same exact thing with your fitness. We're not just going to say, hey, jump into class. You don't understand the words. You might get hurt. You don't know anybody. You don't know the rules of the road. We're going to teach them the rules of the road. Some people might go faster and slower, like you said, but we want to make sure they're comfortable, competent, and confident. Those are my 3 words that I say. And I say, hey, you
not
learn.
Perfect.
Not perfect.
Yeah.
But just comfortable, confident, competent. And I tell them, I say, hey, you learn really how to drive a car on the highway. But we're not just going to tell you to go on the highway, right? We need to teach you the fundamentals, the basics of the car. And when it comes to human movement and health and fitness, there's so much just confusion and craziness out there that we're going to walk with you one by one and go at your pace so that you can be set up really, really, really well.
Yeah.
Hunter, I'm going to turn it to you on this one. Why does fundamentals work?
Yeah, if we go back to the lens that I said earlier, the coach, the client, and the gym, it works really well because the coach gets to understand the client and what their unique goals are. Just because somebody walks into a gym doesn't mean that they have the same goal as everybody else, because they don't. So it gives them the opportunity to build that relationship together to understand, hey, what is Joe off the couch looking to accomplish versus what is Sally from the U.S. Olympic team looking to accomplish.
Sure.
They're going to be doing similar things eventually in the group class environment, but their approach, their mental thoughts, and just what they're looking to get out of it are very different. So that path that those individuals are going need to be navigated differently with a coach. So part of it is, again, that framework of what's good for the client, what's good for the coach, and what's good for the gym is establishing that relationship to a professional coach to help them navigate what they're chasing and pursuing to give them the best experience, but ultimately to get them to their goal, I don't say quickly, but in a manner that is most relevant to them.
Jill, talk to us about the Coach for Life system and how it intersects fundamentals.
Yeah, so when someone gives us a call and they're interested in getting started, they are assigned to a coach. They have a conversation, maybe they come in and they check out the gym, they kind of see what a group class looks like, and then the coach and the client will make a plan. That plan is going to consist of sitting down and talking about their goals. Why are you here? And how can I help you? Are we a good fit for you? Is this what you're looking for? Sometimes if you want to come in and you want to do Zumba, we're not the right fit, and we're more than happy to tell you that.
Nothing against Zumba.
I love Zumba.
Love it, but just not what we do.
But we just don't do that here. Unfortunately, Alex is actually thinking about starting that as a specialty.
I'm getting certified.
But anyhow, so when you're assigned to that coach is going to be your coach for the longevity of your membership here. That's your person. That's the coach in your corner. That's the person that's going to be holding you accountable to the reason you're here. They're going to be there to help you with any questions you have, with any concerns you have, with any goals that you come up with, even past your initial conversation. So that's your person. We're giving you a person to help you through this journey of fitness.
And the reason why we found success and it works is because, as the gym grows and everything like that, like most gyms, and it's nothing wrong with it, it's just different, is most gyms have a gym owner and they have some part-time volunteer coaches, where we believe, again, through that paradigm of what's good for the coach, the client, and the gym, is like we want professional people that are focused as full-time employees to be tied to helping their clients get to their goals. And that creates a different level of motivation, engagement, and what we've found gets better results because the coach is invested in the success of their client.
It's their full-time job to make sure you succeed.
Yeah, and so they're prescribing you, hey, these next 90 days, this is how we're going to get you there. You're going to come to class. You're going to work on these things. They get to understand what's meaningful to you, like how are you doing at work? What's the impacts of sleep? Things like that. Whereas, in different gym environments, you may just come in, give everybody a high five and go home, and you don't get that person helping walk through your individual journey. So that's why we've constructed this program and process to really help people get to where they want to go.
There is a statistic or a finding or research has shown that I come back to from time and time again, that any kind of caretaking or provider or professional world. So take, for example, a doctor, a counselor, a PT, a coach, any kind of that, someone who's providing a service to help someone in the health field. the number one predictor of success in that is not the actual prescription, is not actually the compliance to that plan. It's the belief from the client that their caretaker or professional actually believes in them, is actually in their corner, is actually fighting for them and wants what's best for them. And it's not just a dollar bill, but it's a person sitting there on the other end. That's what I think is the majority of the power and the importance of fundamentals, is because people are coming to us asking help with their health. And it's not like, oh, hey, just go jump into class and we're just going to hope that you do it. We're putting people, strategic professional coaches in their corner saying, hey, we believe in you, we trust you, but we also know the plan. We also know how to get to where you want to go. So trust me, I'm going to walk with you through the entire way. You don't have to do this alone. And that's kind of going back to that coach for life system, that coach to athlete relationship. I've had the privilege and pleasure of probably by now taking well over 100 people through fundamentals now. And that's the coolest part, is that relational equity that is built over those handful of sessions literally carries with you when you see them outside of the gym, when you're coaching them in class, when you go out to dinner. Like, you're doing life with these people. They become friends, but you're also still their coach. That just to know that, hey, I believe in you, that's one of the most powerful things you can give somebody.
Absolutely.
Jill, how much does this cost?
Fundamentals?
Yeah.
Yeah. So much of it depends. It's like going to the car shop. If I give the car shop a call and I say, hey, something's going on with my brakes, how much is that going to be? What are they going to tell me?
Bring it in, let me
Bring
look
it
at
in, let me look.
Right.
So it's similar. You call me and say you want to lose 10, 15 pounds. How much is that going to be? I don't know. I need to look under the hood.
Yeah.
So come on in. Let's talk about it.
Right.
What are you doing now? What have you done in the past? So basically kind of teeing up a custom package for somebody, because what works for one person is not going to work for the other. So just kind of high level, each fundamental training session is $75, and we don't know how many someone is going to need until we look under the hood.
Right.
It just depends on their experience, where they're at, where they want to go, their exposure to fitness, a lot of different things.
And Hunter, I want you to add into this, but this is not a purchase, it's an investment.
Absolutely.
And I've kind of heard that from you. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, really where we find ourselves in like the health continuum, if you want to use that type of language, is we're like prehab or pre-care.
Preventative.
Preventative, yeah.
We're trying to keep you away from going to see the doctor and we just had a testimony this week of somebody who's completely off all of his medications and
blood
things like
pressure
that.
medication.
Yeah, and that's by the care of his doctor, not us recommending that, by the way. But the idea that, we want to work and put together plans and programs to help people get to a better spot in their lives, to be a better dad, to be a better mom, to be a better son, or whatever that is, because, our mission is to change lives through fitness. And so our job, or where we find our job, is like, how do we get people in a better health spot so they can be better at being themselves in their workplace, in their community, and things like that.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's easy, because it's not. It's challenging, showing up every day. It takes some discipline and building habits and things like that. But that's what your coach is there for.
Right.
And the thing I love about the coach dynamic is it's intentional, because as you build trust, and it takes some transparency and vulnerability on both ends of the spectrum, both between the coach and the client, but as you are gaining that trust and peeling back the layer of the onions, we start to realize, it's not about the 5 pounds. It's like, I just want to be self-confident. And you start learning about what's really impactful, and the clients start pursuing and chasing after those real underlying goals. And when they can grab a hold of that, that's when life starts shifting and making really interesting and dynamic changes for the better. And again, we see people coming off medication and things like that. So it's super rewarding for us to see that happen.
Here's why this is not just different, but I think is better than other approaches. The mission here is to change lives through fitness and to change lives through nutrition. We talk about both of them. They work together. That the vision of fundamentals is to best prepare them for life. Not necessarily just for class, because that's part of it, but it's to best prepare them for life. Like Hunter, what you were saying, a better dad, a better spouse, better coworker, better friend, whatever that is. Because what we do in the gym does not outweigh what we do outside of the gym. In fact, what we do in the gym should best prepare us for the demands outside of the gym, right? So when I need to do whatever, I need to take care of my kids or... Don't even get me started. That's a side note. I did a bunch of yard work this past year, but I had the physical capacity to do it.
Good, yeah.
Taking down trees, mulching, putting up walls, all these different crazy stuff. But anyways, we're not just saying, hey, come to class, you're going to get fit so you can do that. We're going to teach you, hey, when you actually deadlift over to get your wheelbarrow, this is how you should actually be thinking about like your spine and your hips and your legs, and where you should be feeling the tension, what muscles you should be using. That's where a lot of the education, and I like to use the word course or program, like you are going through a program to understand how your body works and operates, not just so you can be effective in the gym, yes, because we want as much effective and efficiency as we can, but to be a better human outside of the walls. Jill, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, building better humans.
That's it.
That's what we're doing.
And I'll add one little like cherry on top to that. It's like the side benefit, fringe benefit of it too is like people come and talk to us like their mental health aspect gets so much better because they're like, I never thought I could do that.
Yeah.
Or I'm doing things that I never thought were possible. And that's not something a lot of times they come to us with, but it is a fringe benefit or something that just develops this mentality of like, you know what? I showed up 3 times a week at the gym and that was challenging, but I can do it 4 times next week kind of thing. So, yeah, they become a better human. They start building self-belief and confidence to tackle bigger things in life, like going after a job promotion. Like we have a guy who's doing that right now too. Like he's like, I feel like I can absolutely do this. So, yeah, to your point, it aligns completely with our mission, which is changing lives through fitness, and the fundamentals, process, and programs tease all of that up.
It's chapter 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jill, as we're rounding third and kind of coming home here, what does like this program practically look like? What is a session, or like what are we actually doing in fundamentals?
Yeah. So basically what we want to ensure is that you have had an exposure to every movement you're going to see in class, right? So you're going to see deadlift, you're going to squat, you're going to push up, you're going to sit up, all the things. You're going to be exposed to everything you're going to see in class. We don't want your class experience to be the first time you've ever seen these movements, right? That's not setting you up for success. So exposure to movements. Also, exposure to intensity. A lot of people who come in, myself included when I started CrossFit, had never hit an intense workout.
Right.
So exposure to intensity in a one-on-one setting before you get into a group class.
And that's actually the secret. Is intensity. Anyways, keep going.
I'm more impressed by intensity than volume.
Yes, 1,000%.
The other thing is making and establishing that connection with your coach.
Yes.
Making sure that we're crystal clear on why are you here and how are we going to help you get to where you want to get.
Yes.
Right? So basically when you come in, you and the coach will have a conversation about what you're trying to do and how we're going to get you there, how many sessions you need, what it'll look like to transition to group class, and then just make a plan for your long-term success.
And we have this really cool program here at the gym called our CS&F Ambassador Program, which are just a hand-selected, just stellar group of people who have been here. They understand that they are prepared for life. They understand the methodology and why we do what we do here. So you're not just hearing it from a coach, but we're going to connect you with some of those people, both ambassadors and non-ambassadors, just any kind of members in the gym, because not only is that coach-to-athlete relationship very important, but the athlete-to-athlete relationship is super important. We say that people come for the fitness but stay for the community. I think we have one of the best stellar communities in the entire world. We want to get them connected as soon as possible. So we're going to strategically do that as well.
Yes.
Hunter, did we leave anything out?
No, I think you guys captured it well. I mean, we're really just leveraging this program to tee people up for success, uncover what success looks like to that client and how to put a plan together to get them there, and then and providing, to what Joel said, a few nuggets of education of the why behind the what's. I think is for some people more important than others, but we want to provide, pieces of education around why do we go short distance, why do we go long distance, to help people connect the dots, people that are really curious. Some people are just like, I don't care, I just want you to get me looking good
just
naked.
Help me,
where some people are like cerebral, like, oh, that's interesting. Why? So we want to provide a little bit of all of that for everyone, but the goal is definitely to establish that relationship, uncover where they need to go, how do we define success when we get there, and connect them to a community that's going to help support them as being a better person.
Last point about this fundamentals conversation, I'm going to kick it back to you, Hunter, is someone finishes fundamentals. They go through a handful of sessions. Then they get into class and they start experiencing class. The coach walks them through the whole process. It doesn't end there, right? that accountability and those check-ins are going to continue. Talk to us about what life after fundamentals looks like.
Yeah, it's a good question. So you will have continual one-on-one engagement with your coach for life throughout the life of your journey here with us at CS&F. That can look different based on your goals. Again, the coach and yourself will sit down and understand what that is. If you're prescribing, if you're wanting to be able to get to, dropping 20 pounds, like maybe the prescription that your coach works with you is you need to work with one of our CS&F nutrition coaches because you have very specific nutrition goals. Or it may be, hey, I want to work on these types of skills such as gymnastic type stuff. So we're going to add in more touch points along the way to really focus and hone on those goals. Or you may just hey, I'm just here because I want to just get better fitness. So we're going to have 90-day check-ins and we're going to do in-body scans. And so your roadmap of the journey, you will work with your coach for life to understand what that is. And then once you're in that group environment, there will be intentional touch points where your coach sits down with you, like I said, every 90 days. But they're also probably going to be reaching out to you every few weeks. Say, how's
You'll
life?
See them in class, too.
Yeah, what's going on? How is your experience? What can we do better? So there will be this connection. It's not just a, hey, Alex, thanks so much for kicking my butt and getting me ready, and we'll see you when I see you. There's an intentional relationship that will be developed while you're here at CS&F.
Anything else, Jill?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to end with just talking about how amazing our staff is. And, they are what make our fundamental process so successful.
Oh, just stop, Jill.
I'm fanning the flame over here. But, I know what we do is different, and I know that it's kind of outside of the box of what happens around us. And it's entirely successful because of the people that are basically delivering that product.
Yeah.
Our coaches care. They care a lot. We like to hire people that care. And they take a lot of pride in what they do and in coaching people and helping people. And every single person on this team has a heart to help. It is obvious by how they do help people, and it's obvious by the hard work that they put in day after day. And, I'm just so proud of our team and the professionals that we have to support this fundamental system. It's amazing.
Guys, I hope that paints a picture on fundamentals, why we do what we do here, that I truly do believe it is the best way forward. And if you are interested or know someone who is interested in this, we would love to connect, so just please reach out. Last little fun hitter for the married couple here, Hunter and Jill. I'm going to ask you guys because I think it's unique here. Hunter, if you had to write a book about Jill's life, what would be the title of that book? And Jill, if you had to write a book about Hunter's life, a biography, what's the title of his book that you're writing?
Okay.
I know. I should have gave you some time to chew on this because it is a little bit.
I got it.
So I'm writing the book about
title.
It's a biography, but you're writing it. And what's the title of the book all about your wife?
That's easy. I married up. Oh, snap.
I'm married up.
Facts.
I'll let you guys discuss that on the way home.
Okay.
Jill, you have a title for Hunter's life?
Mr. Hot and Consistent.
Mr. Hot and Consistent, the life and times of Hunter Thornton.
Hunter does not ride the roller coaster like I do.
He is very consistent.
Steady and consistent.
I can raise a glass to that one.
Yep.
Maybe I would alter it. I would call it Marrying Way Up. No, I would probably call Jill's book Pursuing Excellence.
I was literally going to say The Pursuit of Excellence.
There's already a book named that.
It's obviously
a playoff.
Yeah, but no, I would say something along the lines of pursuit of not glory, but pursuit of big things.
Driven by what's best.
Yeah, there you go.
Driven to be the best.
Yes.
Jill, you are one of the best. I will say that.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Hunter, you got some work to do.
I know.
We both married up. I don't know how that pans out in the end, but yes, we did.
Hey, from my role, it has been a privilege and honor to have this conversation with you guys. I hope this was helpful for our listeners. Again, if you need anything, any questions, please reach out. We are here for you. And we'll see you on another episode. Thanks, Hunter and Jill.
See ya. Thank you for joining us today, friends. I hope today's conversation helped you gain a greater understanding of the mission at CS&F to change lives through fitness and nutrition. Check us out on social media or reach out at comingstrengthandfitness.com. We would love to help you take your health to the next level. We'll see you next time.